to the dinner table. We are having a fabulous time this evening, eating, drinking, breaking bread together, and discussing what's going on in America's boardrooms and how do we move forward with Black leadership in the boardroom. My guest, my co-founder, Mr. David Baldwin, take your seat. Amber Anderson, podcaster from Tote and Pair, Ken Gilbert, member of the board of Wendy's, and Dennis Lanham from the Black Corporate Board Readiness Program. We're here to talk about diversity in the boardroom, something that all of my special guests are familiar with, and many of you at home had questions about getting into the boardroom and what's this about today in America. And I know that they have a cocktail hour with those boardrooms. And how important is that? How important is that cocktail hour? Ken?
It's really important. And that's one of the things that's lacking in the pandemic era.
Is it a branding issue? So David, I think you and I probably could weigh in on this. So I think from my experience, so I own a branding agency, and we specialize in intersectionality, so really understanding how the nuances of different identities come together. I think it's not, to me, a branding issue. I think we've been very clear. We've gone through several movements to understand the need for diversity and inclusion. I think that the issue may be that there was no reason for the business to move, and communities are now calling upon it. So businesses are reacting to society saying this is an issue, because we saw Black Lives Matter being a hashtag before, and it was a bad thing. And then after a period of time, Black Lives Matter became a positive thing. And so it's not that the conversations haven't been happening or weren't happening. It's that there needed to be some type of push in society to make businesses react. And that's generally, unfortunately, how it works, unless the businesses are really, truly mission driven and are doing the right thing to do the right thing. So I would say I don't think it was branding. I think it was society pushed the businesses to move into a different direction.
In a board meeting that just took place a couple days ago, my point of view was that if we were pursuing DE&I properly, it would make us all feel uncomfortable. Because if it's comfortable, that means it's not proceeding at the speed that it needs to proceed. And also, if it's comfortable, that means they're just perpetuating the club.
The fear of having to get outside of your comfort zone. I mean, if it was going to be done, if it could be done where we all are, it would have happened already. Yeah. We're going to have to get out of our comfort zone with the people that we're used to being around, the people who look like us, and welcome in some new folks. It's very much the way we're doing here around this dinner table.
So I've been doing non-degree executive education, university-based executive ed now for 10 years. I started out in Georgia State University out in Atlanta. And one of the best programs that I've ever been a part of building in my life was values-based leadership decision-making, right, for executives. And so we took these groups of executives to Quantico, and we put them in a war simulation to challenge their value systems that they truly believed were a part of who they were. And it was a war simulation with real actors and, all of that. And they had to, on the spot, choose between saving a woman that was getting raped on the spot or save a child that's about to be murdered. And how do you reconcile those two different decisions that you have? And you have to make a decision. It's that level of learning that I think we've got to bring to the boardroom to really move the needle on people's comfortability so that we can build authentic relationships and not just relationships for the sake of business or relationships for the sake of showing face or not wanting to be embarrassed or whatever. And we decided last year to build a Black Corporate Board Readiness Program, which I've now co-founded with Thane Kreiner out here, who was a former colleague of mine at SCU and is a really good friend. And it's for the same reason, right? It's a network issue. So what we're dealing with is human to human sort of socialization, and people that are, sitting corporate directors that are looking to fill vacancies, reaching out to either exec search firms or trying to do it on their own via their own networks. And the truth is that they don't have the network connections to people that don't necessarily look like them, right? And then there's excuses that come up. Well, I don't know anybody, or the talent doesn't exist, or whatever. And the truth is, that's not true. So we've created these concentrations of incredible talent, of people that in some cases have been board ready for a long time, but they've not been given opportunities, or opportunities have not found their way to them because of network barriers and other things. So
All boards have relative the same objective. They like to bring different disciplines to the board, and typically, if somebody leaves, they'll try to replace that discipline. Or if they look at the company and they say, "Hey, we have a weakness in this area. Maybe we need to bring somebody in." So, um, when I look at the Wendy's board, it's extremely balanced. I mean,
Mm.
we're really strong in finance and accounting. We're really strong in marketing. Um, we're strong in legal, and we're strong in every single discipline that we have. So what you hope is that, and here's what I keep pushing at Wendy's, is that bringing people of color and bringing them people of color to higher levels of senior management in the company, and also addition to the board, can create a sense of innovation, because
Mm.
things change when we're in the room. They don't, and it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing when, somebody like me says, "Well, gee, have you thought of it this way?" And it's not so much because I'm coming at it from a black perspective. It's because I'm black, but I have a perspective that has a broad impact on the business. Those are the things that are expected, or I think are real value if you're a black person on a board. Which is, yeah, sure, it's written on the back of the ticket that we have to be advocates for equality and DE&I and all that kind of stuff they expect us to talk about. But when you're an advocate, or you have a point of view about something that's going to have a real impact on the business, that that's where we're best. We have a different perspective.
I think it's also about, telling the story of diversity of thought. So all Black people are not the same. We have a variety of different experiences and backgrounds, and being able to understand the value we bring as an individual is going to be important. And I think, again, they're business decisions. So, as a CEO, I'm like, these decisions, when you bring them to me, are very clear. And so, being able to make sure we're having a conversation about, we're not just screaming to get more Black people on, we're talking about getting a diversity of thought, getting people in front of you that have experiences that they contribute to what you're trying to achieve, and balancing out the conversation to make sure there's some validity behind it. Because sometimes people get caught up in color and don't understand the translation of how color brings so many different things to the table.
I think the thing that we've seen as we've built this business, and why I think it is poised to keep this conversation going, is what Jerusha brought to this was an insight that we didn't necessarily see, which was, it's actually not a pipeline issue. It's not a pipeline issue. There's tons of amazing people. It's not a inertia issue on sort of the board side. They actually, there's a lot of people. We're aligned with the B Corp community, and they are in. Like, they want to do this. This is not like, that we'll listen to you. They're in. They want to do this. The question is how, and the question is, a lot of board relationships happen because of the word relationships, and so there are these networks of people, which is why you see the same people on the same boards, including Black executives, a lot of the same Black executives on multiple boards. What we saw, and particularly Jerusha brought to this, was what we actually need to do is create a network and relationships. We need to expand the relationships. And so much of what I've seen as an executive and in some of the other businesses that I have, is it's all about empathy. It's about getting people to talk to each other and know each other, and it opens up everything, because that's the secret that we're seeing.